Who want one last trip to the long trail?
Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today I want to do another discussion about this Tekken Bloodline trailer. We got a whole lot to look at. I did videos already talking about Jun Kazama, Leroy Smith, why is he in there, Paul Phoenix, what's his situation with Ogre. I did one talking about Kazuya and what his potential role in the story could be, but this time I want to focus on the final character, the final other character that we got a look at in the trailer. Everyone was so surprised to see King in there. Really, King fighting Jin. Both of these characters are good. So the only way I see them fighting is if they were in the King of the Iron Fist tournament. Now I wonder if that's going to be the case. Will they actually work the King of the Iron Fist tournament into the actual story? Will that be a prime focus of it? Will Heihachi be the one who spawns Ogre? There's so many questions and I just am starving for the answers. Like in the actual story, when you talk about Tekken 3, Julia's pendant is the reason that Ogre was spawned. So will she be in there? Will her whole story with the Mishima Zaibatsu kind of unfold before our eyes as well? There's so many questions and the answers is kind of right in front of us when we look to the game. Now, when you talk about King, there's the original King. Basically, he ran an orphanage and he looked after like kids, orphans. And then there was the second King who was a kid who lived in the orphanage, and he took up the mantle of King once the original died. Now, when you talk about the original King and how he died, it's very, very spicy. I have a screenshot here of the actual story and I want to read it. This is Tekken 2 transitioning into Tekken 3. There is no specific time when this takes place, but it's definitely between 2 and 3. It says, as time passed, however, the orphanage began to struggle. King turned to drinking, and the death of a child in his care pushed him to the breaking point. He took to the streets, stumbling around in a drunken spur. Armor King, worried for his friend, sought him out and helped him get his life back on track and persuaded him to resume training for the second King of the Iron Fist tournament. This brings up a good question about King. Will Armor King make an appearance? Because he was here helping the original King and guiding him, helping him get back on track. Will Armor King make an appearance? I would love to see it. It says, with the help of his friend, King fully recovered from his depression and alcoholism and trained immensely for the tournament with the intention of winning the prize money to fund the orphanage. However, King lost in the tournament and resorted to teaching the orphans his fighting skill instead as a means of self-defense. Now this is where Ogre comes in, and this is where his introduction into the story really takes. This is where I think he will show up in the story. All of that stuff I read, I think that will act as sort of his backstory. Maybe we will get that in some sort of dialogue when he's talking to whoever, but that kind of I think will serve as his backstory. It says, sometime after the second tournament, King was attacked and killed by Ogre, the god of fighting. This led one of the orphans in his care to don the Jaguar mask himself and take on the title of King 2 in order to provide for further funding of the orphanage and continue the first King's legacy. Now, that's going to be incredible to see. I guarantee that is going to be probably one of the most saddest moments ever. Seeing Ogre defeat King, killing him, that will be heartbreaking because Harada said Jun Kazama did not die. So we know she will not be torn limb from limb by Ogre, or we think she won't. But King, it flat out says here that he died. So seeing that is going to be very heartbreaking. But also on the flip side, seeing the orphan coming in, putting on the mags, swearing to get revenge, to keep the legacy going, that is going to be truly inspirational. The part here that's really cool too, and that really also shaped the King character going forward, it says, heir to the throne, he was really King II. Raised in King's orphanage, he was 24 years old when the original king was killed. So it says here he was a kid, but this guy is 24 years old. You can't be a kid and 24 years old. It doesn't work the same. But 24 years old, he put on the mask and assumed the role of King's successor in order to honor his mentor and save the orphan. The new king only watched his mentor and really was incapable of fulfilling the legend. Here's where Armor King comes in. Armor King, knowing who killed King, felt an obligation to prepare the second king for a rightful revenge. Now this part here, I wonder how this will all unfold, because they put Leroy Smith in the trailer, they put Paul Phoenix in the trailer, and they put King in the trailer. We know King and Paul Phoenix both fight Ogre, but will they push Leroy Smith to also fight Ogre? And will we possibly see those three team up against him in some sort of 3v1? And then maybe Jin shows up later. It's really going to be interesting to see how everyone interacts with Ogre. It's kind of going to be like Ogre goes around and he beats up everyone. And then the survivors, they're going to come back and they're going to be trying to get revenge. They're going to be looking for him door to door. Where is he? And I wonder if Heihachi will play some role in that. One of the biggest questions I still have too is King fighting Jin in the trailer, because to my knowledge they are not rivals. If you look at the likes and dislikes for the original king and the second king, neither one of them dislikes. It doesn't say Demishima Zaibatsu and it doesn't say Jin Kazama. Now that may be added, this may be updated once either Tekken 8 comes around or this series comes out, but so far they have no correlation. Even in the comics, I talked about this already, so I won't go too in detail, but in the comics, we see King works with Jin. I wonder if that same sort of bond will be formed. Maybe they get off on the wrong foot, but they grow through sort of the same suffering. Maybe Jin finds out that Ogre kills King, just like he believes Ogre did to his mom, and that makes him feels more connected to the second king when he arises. Reading this last part, it says 4 years have passed and King II is now a skillful wrestler. Feeling the time is right, Armor King tells the student that the god of fighting was responsible for King's death. Armor King breaks down in tears as he tells the gruesome story. King II now knows his purpose in life. This is crazy. The fact that they say the gruesome story, that is going to be crazy. Seeing King get destroyed in such a fashion, because King is one of the most popular characters in the Tekken franchise ever. You see that Jaguar Max, you think King. So to see him get beat down like that is really going to add a new level of seriousness to Ogre. And me, I want to see that sort of I just want to see this whole Tekken 3 arc in its full glory. I'm very, very excited to see that. And in this video, I just want to break down another aspect of it that I thought was important, because when you break down all these bits and pieces and then you start to rebuild it, put it all together, you can really see the foundation of a brilliant story. And them going to Netflix, I think the execution, the team definitely can get it done. So I'm very happy. So yeah, I think there's definitely a lot of potential in this, and I just want to talk about it because it's exciting. But feel free to leave your ideas and your suggestions on what I should cover next down below. But that's it for now. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.